Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 52 of the new Build Your Stash and Craft. So today we are going to make Pom Pom paper clips. This is what they look like when they're done, and they look really cute in a book or a journal. They make a nice addition to a journal if you want to just add a little bit hanging off the edge of your journal. You can use them on the top. You can go ahead and you can use them on the side. And the paper clips are not super thick, so you can use them in your regular books, and they're not going to, really be so thick that they don't work very well, but they look cute either way. And being that they're paper clips, they stick where you put them. So you could even put them on as tabs in a journal or in a book that you're reading that you want to tab through it. So that is what we're going to be making today. And so for today, we picked up some pom-poms and we picked up some super glue. Everything else we already had in our stash. And so the first thing I'm going to show you is, if you didn't get out and get some pom-poms or you weren't able to find them, I'm going to show you, to the best of my ability, how to make a pom-pom, because I've never been real good at it. The one thing that I have learned about pom-poms is you really, really need to use a lot of yarn. If you use just a little bit, it doesn't work as well. I'll show you here. This one had 40 wraps, and it's a really nice full pom-pom. You can't see where it was tied. And then this one had 30 wraps, so not as full, and you can tell a little bit where it was tied. But this one had 20 wraps, and this one definitely almost looks like a barbell. You can really see where it was tied together, and I tied it as tight as I could. Now, even if you only have this, when you glue it on your paper clip, you can also put just a little bit of regular glue where the tie is, and just kind of bring it together so that they'll kind of glue together, because it's still a nice fluffy pom-pom, just not as good as this one. So the way to make a pom-pom is you need two things of the same size. I do it with two. You can do it with one. If you wrap with just one, to me it's hard to get the tie string in there. So because I'm using two things, I put a little bit of my yarn between those two items, and I did this one around 2 pencils. I don't remember what I used for this one. So and then so what we're going to do is we're going to do like 35 wraps. Let's try that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and I'm going to just put a couple more, 2, 3, 4, 5, just for the heck of it. I'm going to cut it at the bottom, which is where the other one was too. Doesn't really make a difference. All right, and then we're going to need a piece of thread to tie it. I always use the same color thread, because then if it does split, you don't notice it as much. And because you have the two items, you can stick your thread right through there. Otherwise, if you only wrapped it around one piece of cardboard, you just have to somehow get this. Usually I would use a needle. You have to get this through your pom-pom before you tie it. So I'm just going to, and I looked at lots and lots of pom-pom videos. That's how I saw this, where they were actually wrapping it around two things instead of just one. And so I thought, well, that is definitely an easier way to get that string through there. Well, that one doesn't want to stay out of my way. And then I'm just going to kind of even these up. And when you tie it, you're going to go around once like you're tying a knot, but then go around a second time, because then when you pull it tight, whoops, when you pull it tight, that just kind of helps hold it. Now that we've just got that pulled, I'm going to slide this off. Let me just grab one, pull one out, then pull the other one out. Now we're going to pull it really tight. That didn't work. I have no idea what just happened there. So we'll just have to try it again. So, and that's the thing, I don't always get a perfect pom-pom. So if you don't get a perfect pom-pom, don't worry about it. It's not necessarily you. It's just, it's something that you kind of get the hang of after a little while. And the reason that I did the other one so long, we'll do this one a little shorter. It just seemed like it was easier to cut if I spread it out a little bit, but maybe that was my problem. So I'm just going to finish this one up and try that again. Not sure what I did. So let's see. If we go through here and we tie this up, I've got that knot. I'm going to get a new one because that's got a knot right in the middle of it. That's going to totally be in my way. I did this with the other, so it did work. Oh, you know, I bet that I just let it get way too loose before I really tightened up the knot. Okay. So now we are going to do 2 wraps to help hold that knot when we slide it, because when you just do one, when you slide it and you let go, it always loosens up a lot. Now maybe it's because I'm doing it on cardboard this time, because when I did it on the pencils, they couldn't move. So let's slide out one, tighten it some more. And if I slide out this one, that is going to just make it just be sitting there. Huh. Well, all right, let's do it the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to try something a little bit different. I don't know if this will really get in my way or not. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way where you wrap it and then you tie it just on one side. But in order to do that, I'm just going to hold this in here first. And then we'll go ahead and wrap it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so we've got about 31 wraps. And you do kind of want to make sure that you're kind of even. You don't want a really skinny spot and then a really thick spot, because that will make a difference on your pom-pom. So now that I did that, we're just going to tie it right here before we slide it off. I'm going to pull one of these out. So basically that's no different than wrapping it and then sticking your thread through. And that's how I've always done it before. And like I said, it is kind of a trial and error. Like once you get it down and you get good at it, it will be so much easier to do next time. This is going to turn out like a tassel, I think. I think I've still got a problem. I'm going to pull this off and tie it super, super tight. And then put another knot in it. All right, I don't want that knot to be too thick, so that's going to be good. Cut that off, and then cut through your loops. And now this is your pom-pom. This looks super messy. I kind of squish it down towards where I tied it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take something round. You can do 2 punches off of a cardboard. I've got a couple of, this one was done with a quarter, This one was done with a 50-cent piece just because they were there and they were hard. And you stick one on each side and kind of line them up, making sure that your tied one is really inside there. You don't want to cut that one on accident. And then you are just going to give it a haircut. And this was one thing that I saw as I was trying to watch videos on making pom-poms. And this was a good idea. This really does kind of get you that round look. I have always cut them and cut them and cut them, you know, trying to get them round, and really had a problem with that. So this seems to work really well to do it this way. So now that you've squished it that way, when you kind of puff it back out again, it's going to be long. So you're going to puff it back out the opposite way. Now our string is going this way. It was going that way. And you're going to stick your quarters again on each side and squish it together and give it another haircut. And you don't have to cut it right next to the quarter. You just want it to be about the same all the way around both times that you do it. And that helps you not have those pieces that stick way out. And then you're just going to take it and give it a fluff. I kind of give it a little bit of a whirl. And there is your pom-pom. And that one turned out pretty good. You can kind of see where that string is, but because, and if we would have had those extra few, I would have even made more of a difference. It would have been even more full. You see a little bit there where it's tied. But there we go, and that's pretty good. And then if you see just a few here, there that you need to just make as short as the rest, you can just go in and do that. And just give it a squish. And there is your pom-pom. So, in a very roundabout way, that's how you make a pom-pom. Look it up on YouTube and find someone that does it in a way that clicks with you. And I don't know, you know, it seems like when I watch these other people do it, they don't really have that hard of a time. I have always had a hard time making pom-poms. But I wanted to show you, even though I have a hard time doing it, you really can do it. I was really, really happy with this one. This one came out super good. A little bit big though. So we're just going to get all of this out of our way. And there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take our plain silver paper clips and we're going to color them. So we'll do a purple one. Do we want that one purple? Yeah. And they don't have to match. So, and the other thing is that I'm just doing it on a piece of acetate, coloring my paper clip. You can use this afterwards. You can punch it. You can use it, cut it into a bookmark like we did here. Oh, I left this out because I wanted to show you something. I had a little washer. Now, this is not one of the ones I bought last week. It's a little bit smaller than that. But I got them for 2 cents a piece at the hardware store a while back. So I had these bags full of 3 different sizes, and this was one of them. And I thought that looked really cute as a hole reinforcer. So, and it's really small, it's really pretty thin, so it still works good with our bookmark, but it just gives it that little extra something. So I thought that that was really cute. And again, because you can color metal with this. Now, when you're using your paper clips, to me, I find it easiest to kind of try and, you know, make them flat, make them all very even, so that when I put the alcohol ink on them, the sponge kind of hits everywhere. Now it does push down and they push down, but to me that's just easier to do it first. So I am going to do that one with some purple, and I'm going to use just purple. Just give them a little shake. Always make sure that your lids are on tight before you do that, and make sure you close them up when you're done with them so they don't spill, because alcohol inks will stain. So I'm just going to put some alcohol here. And even though my pad is this big, I do not need to fill the whole pad with the alcohol ink. I'm just going to ahead and dot that on there. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to let it dry a little bit before you flip it over. So we're going to let that one sit for a second, and we're going to do a green one because I've got a red and a blue. So I thought that I would like to do a green one. And so we'll go ahead and get a paper clip. And again, just kind of flatten it out just a little bit so that it sits flat on my plastic. And let's see, I do have a green one here. Now I wanted to show you this. I'm going to just show you on paper. This has not been used very much, but the more you use them, the more ink that will be stuck in your pad. So I just want to show you, if you just put a couple of little drips, and those are little drips, of your rubbing alcohol on there, that reconstitutes that. It's not really gonna work much on here, but I don't know how well you can see this. Let's try putting white paper behind it. But it actually, see the green on there? That was not there, that was clear, and the paper clip is actually got green on it. So, and that was not using any of the alcohol inks. That was just putting a little bit of rubbing alcohol on our felt. So that's the one thing to remember, is that's why I don't throw these away. And that's why I usually just use, like, I mix green and yellow together when, a lot of times when I'm doing things, because I like to mix two colors. But I just can put green on there and it will just be green. I flipped this one over, so I'm going to do this side. And I'm surprised that already I'm getting that much ink off of this felt when I've only just used it just the last time when I showed you how they work. So there, you know, I haven't even hardly used this, and I'm getting a lot more of that alcohol off of there than I thought I would. So I'm just going to take this and show you. There's our green, and there's our purple. And whether the colors are coming across or not, but they really do look good. Maybe putting a silver one here might help. It's hard sometimes with the lighting, but definitely it's just a little added something. You could just put them on a plain old silver paper clip. You don't have to dye your paper clips, but it's just a little fun. And if you think, oh, that's not dark enough, you can always let them dry, and then just go ahead and put another coat of your ink on there. So let's go ahead, and then, so what you're going to do, here's the green one. Okay, so the way that you're going to do it when you buy the store-bought ones is you're just going to find a spot. It doesn't matter what spot it is, and you're just going to kind of separate those hairs, and then we're going to put just a little bit of glue. If you don't want to squeeze it right out of the tube, you can put some on a piece of paper and use a toothpick or something to put it in there. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little dot there. I'm going to shut this because it's kind of wanting to squeeze out. So we've just got a little dot where we separated it. Then you just take your paper clip, stick it right down in there, push it towards the middle, and then squish that together. Now hold it for just a second, but it takes a little bit for this to dry. It's not going to grab right away. So you're going to give it a squish, and you're going to let them set. And as they're sitting and this is drying, every so often, go in and give it a squish. Don't worry about whether your ball is round right now. You can go back in later and just go ahead and take your ball and you know, shape it back up again by just pushing it back into a ball. But right now, we want to make sure that those threads, because this yarn is going to attach to each other here, that way the paper clip won't pull out, because the yarn on each side of that paper clip, it's not only gluing the paper clip, it's gluing the yarn together from this side and that side, so that now it's almost like sewing something together, you can't pull it out. So I'm just going to let that sit, and we do have to let that dry. So I'm going to set it like on the edge of that book that I did. No, it's too heavy to do that. I thought maybe I could leave it set that way so that the ball didn't hold the paper clip off, but we're going to just put it right on there like that. And then we'll do this one that we just made. So I am going to, with this one, because I know that I've got that yarn showing that we tied it together with, I'm going to just put a glue on that where the yarn went around. And at the same time, I'm going to get some tacky glue, and I'll just put a little bit out here. And I'm just going to use a toothpick. If you don't have a toothpick, I don't believe we bought toothpicks for the series. So if you don't have a toothpick, you can even open up one of your paper clips and just use the point of that. I just want something that's going to get the glue where I want it to go. So, and make sure, I've done this before, you don't want to put your ball on this end. This is where it's got a paper clip to the paper. So always make sure that you put your paper clip in the correct way so that you still have these two pieces where your paper fits through. So now I'm just going to hold that for a second, and I'm going to kind of part the hair on my ball. And I'm just going to just dab just a little bit of glue on each side. Not a lot, because I don't want a big hard lump or anything. I have more in there than I want, so I'm going to kind of move that around. And I suppose I could have even done this part first, because this will stick a little bit faster, because all I'm trying to do is stick yarn to yarn, and it's very light glue, so it will hold a little quicker. There's no pressure pulling it apart. And then I'm just going to fluff that together like this. And again, I'm not going to worry right this second about if I'm exactly round or not. But with these ones, I don't want to squish it super hard and just leave it there. So I'm going to squish that and then kind of just fluff it back just a little bit, because I don't want all of that. That glue could squish through. So I'm just going to kind of do that. And then we've got that one on there. And this one is going to need a little bit of a haircut. Like I said, the ball is heavy, the paper clip is heavy, so where we've glued it here, we're going to have to keep checking that every so often just to make sure that that part is sticking together. Could you use the tacky glue on that too? You probably could. I was thinking, because we were gluing metal, the super glue works really good to glue metal, but really, we're really gluing the Pom Pom and holding that in there. So that one will have to sit and dry. I'm going to pick this one back up again and give that a squish right there where I want that to stick together. And I'm going to have to do that for a little while I'm doing other things, while I'm making more. Just every so often, just give that a little push to make sure that that dries really well in that spot, because see how loose it is right now? And it's definitely loose. You can feel it. But in looking at these, see, these aren't, I mean, it's going to move because this is fabric, but I don't know if you can see, the whole pom-pom is moving with it. Whereas when I move that one, it's the paper clip that's moving. So you want to let them dry, and they just make really cute bookmarks, journal covers. The place that I saw this first, and there wasn't a tutorial, but I was watching a room tour once, and a lady had made these, and I thought they were so cute. She made them, and then she had like she had a shelf right above her desk, and so she had put little tiny nails, I believe, all across that shelf. And then she just took these and she just hung them like this. And so there were all of these just hanging down all the way across that shelf in all different colors. It was the cutest thing. And that's where I thought, oh, that's so cute. So I made some. And but I can't tell you what that channel was because it was years ago that I saw it. But it was just the cutest thing. And so if that was you, thank you very much, because I just really like the way that they work. And I love the way they work in journals. You know, I just think they're cute. And I like the way that they work for bookmarks too, because they have the ball on them. To me, they're easier to find. When I set them down somewhere, it's just easier to find than like a flat piece of paper. That's another reason I like to have a string on the top of my bookmarks, because again, when I set them down, if it's just a flat piece of paper, I have a hard time finding where I buried it. So, but that is how you can make your own pom-poms, kind of. Like I said, go ahead and look around on YouTube if you want to make your own, on really good ways to do it. I did learn some good things, especially the trick about putting a circle on each side and using that to cut it, because I never wind up with a pom-pom. Even this one needs a little bit of a trim after it's solid, but I have never made one this round, ever. I always have such a hard time and just have to continue clipping, and pretty soon the whole thing falls apart because there's not enough left. And so, yeah, go ahead and look at somebody that does them well. Because you can do them yourself. And just remember, you know, when you watch somebody make them and they make them and everyone comes out just fine, it's not because they're better than you. It's because they've practiced more than you. So, you know, anybody can do it if you try. It takes practice. No matter what you're doing, it takes practice to go ahead and get things done the way that you see somebody who's done it a lot of times do it. So, and again, you don't have to put the pom-poms on there. Just the colored paper clips are really cute. These ones are just silver on the end. But just the colored paper clips all by themselves are really cute. And do you have to use the alcohol ink to color a paper clip? You can use a permanent marker and just color it. It will be more solid. You know, see, I don't know if you can see that this is kind of, I don't know exactly what I want to say, kind of like a mottled look, where it's, because this was solid blue, not blue and purple, but you still get a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the silver. When you color it with your permanent marker, it will be very solid blue. Excuse me. And I like the way that you get the kind of little bit of different tone there. So excuse me. So there we go. You can make your own pom-poms. You can make your own little pom-pom bookmarks. Color your... I do apologize. I don't have anything here to take a little drink. So that is what you can do with those. Now, the purple is not super dark. I might go back in and put a little bit more purple on that paper clip. I'll just put it on a piece of paper or put it on my acetate and just put a little bit more ink on the part that's showing. So there we go. That is our project for today. Let's see if we can make it through what we need for next week. Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way. And I did have a couple comments on how they liked the credit cards, and one of them said you could just take them and put them like in baseball card sleeves to store them all in the same place in just a nice flat area. And that, I think, is a really good idea because they do fold flat. You've got your handles there, which make them really nice, but those handles fold nice and flat, so they would fit in a piece of plastic that's divided like that and keep them all separate. That's a really good idea, so thank you for that idea. For next week, we are going to need a piece of our drying mat. This is like a towel with a little bit of sponge on the other side, or inside, and a towel on the other side. This is from the Dollar Tree. If you don't have one, we bought this as a paint pad, and but this is a leftover piece, so we're going to need that. But that we've got in our stash, And let's see, what else do we have in our stash? We're going to need our food color gel that we also have in our stash. And then we are going to need to buy, these are, you don't have to have these. These are Glad 29 snack size bags. You can get the regular sandwich size bags too. And this is 6 5/8 by 3 1/4. Now that actually is going to make a difference because we're going to stick our little bowls in here and the little bowls fit in here. But if it's a different size, if it's smaller than this, they may not fit. So these are the Glad snack size 6 5/8 by 3 1/4. They don't have to be Glad, but you do want that size, or otherwise just get sandwich bags because that will definitely be big enough. We're going to pick up a packet of these 10 containers. These little containers like this. And I got these at the Dollar Tree. So this was from the Dollar Tree and this was from the Dollar Tree. I also got these little plastic forks. These just come in handy for so many different things. Even when I was putting the glue out, you could have used the tips of this to put that glue out. These just really come in handy. So we're going to need a pack of these. And then if you have this at home, don't buy any. If you don't have it at home, then go ahead and pick some up. And that is just hand sanitizer. You can get this at the Dollar Tree. So if you don't have any, you'll have to buy this. So we're going to count it as a purchase, but I'm using what I have because you don't need a ton of it. And I figured everybody probably has some of this at home. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items that we need to purchase at the Dollar Tree. So that will be $5 that we're going to take off of out of our bank, or we're going to use out of our $7.50, and then we're going to put the other $2.50 in our bank. So that will bring our bank up to $79.75. So that's what we're going to need for next week. And yeah, so that's it. That's what we need. So I hope that you enjoyed this project. I think that these are just really fun to make. I'll put these on here. I can still tell just how loose this one is. Just give it a little squish there. And this one too. But there we go. Really cute little Pom Pom paper clips. And you can use them as bookmarks and that type of thing, but you can also use them, like I said, the lady used them for decorating. You can use them for so many things. So even if you're going to clip a bunch of papers together that you have to give to somebody, kind of little cute addition on there. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.